Hey, what's up, you guys? Yes, this is Zam here tonight, and I am happy to report that I am more healthy today than I was yesterday, and the day before, and the day before. And as you can probably hear, I actually have my voice. And hi, Garuda! And I just got through going down some kind of dark path in YouTube, and I decided that I would go ahead and stream. I don't know how much company we'll get or if I'll be by myself, but seeing that I have at least one person watching, that makes it an even more fun experience. But basically, I wanted to share the weird thoughts that I had tonight, and not necessarily just a few minutes ago. It's during the course of the night because it's been a weird mental trip for me. So the first thing I would like to report is I couldn't help but notice that I was out at a supermarket, and I remembered that my mother was looking for kitchen utensils some 2 months ago. She was looking for tongs specifically. And then she said, "Hey Zam, do you know where I could possibly find metallic ones? Because I keep seeing the ones that are rubbery or silicone, whatever." And then I'm like, you know what, Mom? I noticed that too. They have it with the black silicone, they have it with the colored silicone. And I think it's weird. No, Garuda, I did not say thongs. I said tongs. But every time I say that word, I always feel kind of weird about it because for that very reason. But holy crap, we got 7 people watching. What do you people do with your lives? Why are you sleep deprived like me? But I have to assume some of you are in a different time zone or a different country. But anyways, so let me finish my story. So Mom was like, "Do you know where I can find metallic tongs as opposed to silicone ones?" And I said, "You know what? Let's try Walmart because Walmart has everything." And then we go to Walmart and they actually did not have it. And then I'm like, "You know what, Mom? You might want to try Target because I was there the other day with the boyfriend, and I saw that they have like a whole world of utensils. So if you cannot find them there, then you might need to get on Amazon and order it there, because if Amazon doesn't have it, then the world has just stopped producing it." All right. So anyways, and then tonight I was out at a grocery store and I saw the silicone version of that thing that you use to mix the egg with, like, I never remember the name of that thing. But anyways, you can also use that to mix batter, like spin the batter around. It's this thing that it looks like a, I don't know, it looks like a hanger that has multiple things in it. I don't fucking know. The egg beater, yeah, that. I know it's simple, but it always gets to me. So basically, I saw that thing and I had never seen it non-metallic before. I had never seen it with the silicone. So then I tell myself, you know what? What if? Because this is a very crazy world out there and I spend way too much time online than I like to admit. What if everything is being covered in silicone so that when you're cooking it, it melts and then that seeps into your food and you end up consuming that and you end up really fucked in the brain, just like a lot of us are, just by natural causes, but also the fact that a lot of people are on medication, on drugs, or all the whatevers that people do these days with their lives and put into their bodies. So if we already have fluoride in our water, what's to keep us from having silicone stuff? Because people are not going to be aware, they're not going to pay attention. They might think that the black stuff getting into their food, say if you have the tongs that have the black silicone ends to it or the rainbowy colored ones, it's like you don't notice that this thing is melting away at a high temperature and you end up consuming that forms a part of your body now. So that means more hospital visits and more that the government or whatever gets to capitalize on. I'm not claiming this is real. Do not sue me. Do not come after me. I guess watching a lot of people make videos like this online has gotten to me too, especially the Shane videos. So I guess I should do an impression of him at some point. So do not sue me. But I thought I would share that with you guys because I I was shocked that I had such a messed up thought in my brain, and of course, that's not possibly the worst thing that I can imagine. But I realized because of that I have been exposed to so much information that now I just do not know what to do with myself or what to do with that information. It's like, is the world really as dark and ugly and terrible, terrible as it is being portrayed? Or am I letting it get to me? Or is the world really worse than I'm actually giving it, like, then I'm convincing myself that it is, and now it's finally showing that I'm accepting it and integrating myself into it. I don't know. You guys let me know. Am I going crazy, or do you guys have worse thoughts? If you have worse thoughts, please share them in the comments. I'm here for it. Let me catch up with the comments. Hello, Jordan. And hello, DH. Good to see you. Oh, the thing you use to pick up food with my bed. Yeah, that, it's not the bikini stuff that you so much dream of. You know what I'm saying? Nah, I'm just picking on you, Garuda. I would never do that to you. It's almost 1 here. Yeah, over here it's actually past 1 already. It's like 1:30, I would estimate. I need to go to the bottom of the comments for the timestamp. I have not been to Target since 2013. 2013 was actually the first time I ever actually went to a Target to shop for things. But my first time visiting a Target ever was 2010. And I remember it was so mind-blowing for me because even though it's a store that has more of the same junk that I see everywhere, like food, like cleaning utensils, clothes, a restaurant inside it, on some places. For some reason, it looked like a completely different world. Maybe because of the colors. Like, I'm used to the Walmart colors because I'm a poor girl. So Walmart is all I can afford. So it's like seeing a different color, like, oh, look at this red and white and this and that. And I was looking at the prices and I'm like, God damn, I cannot afford to shop here. Why? And then I'm pretty sure I'm not the only person who does this, but I always associated Target with it being the Walmart for rich people. You don't even need to be rich to shop there necessarily, but it's like they had name brand clothing, and even the clothing that was generic, for some reason, it was fancy. Everything about it looked fancy. And now that I'm an adult and I understand about retail and selling and shopping and what is in the brain of managers and stakeholders and whatnot, it's like, oh, right, the display of something makes all the difference in the world. So sometimes it's not even the product that impresses you. It might be the way that it's displayed and showcased and shown to you or offered to you. Like, have you ever fallen victim to someone doing a demo on something, sampling something to you? And I'm like, you know what? If it weren't for that demonstration, I would have never tried it. I would have never considered it. But that's the whole idea. People like to come up with things that people are not likely to come up with independently, or you can push a product to be the driver of your sales. And this is something that I personally do on the grinds that I have on the side. So it's like, let me choose the best ingredients that I can think of. And even if something as basic as a fucking taco, you can make it seem fancy if you add ingredient that people don't normally think about including into it. And for some reason, that makes the whole experience seem different, unique, special. And when you think about it critically, it's all like a game in the mind. It's all a psychological game. So ever since I told myself life is just a psychological game, a lot of stuff just doesn't get to me. I always wonder how it is that sometimes for me when it rains it floods and I stay so chill about it, and I'm considering sharing with you guys some of the stuff that has happened to me within the past 3 days that I'm just like just oh, screw me, right? But but at the same time, I have done so many videos where I don't really dwell on anything like I usually do and actually enjoy doing, which is opinionated stuff. So I'm like, I'm not going to sit here and talk about the stuff that's going wrong in my life. Like I'm the only one who has stuff going wrong in her life, right? But anyways, I cannot help but just think about that. It's like Target may seem like a fancier place for me because of the way they display their stuff. They actually have mannequins that they put the clothes on to exhibit the merchandise. Whereas Walmart, I don't recall seeing a mannequin there, at least in a long ass time. So, little details like that can make a difference, and maybe the checkout experience may be different as well. So, little details like that, I guess. And when you see brands that promote stuff like better ingredients, finest ingredients, you may think that you're actually getting a bargain, but in reality, you really are not. You're just paying extra for a little bit of fanciness. On some stuff, it's worth it, but in the grand scheme of things, I realize it really isn't. A whisk, yeah, a whisk. I think that's the proper term of that silicone thing I was trying to think about. Thanks again for sharing your hard work. A whisk, a whisk. Yes, a whisk. That's what it is. I feel bad that I was not paying attention to the comments earlier. Silicon is non toxic. You know, even though silicon is non toxic, though, it doesn't feel like something that should be within you. I know that silicon dioxide is sand, right? Should be pretty harmless. But still, the idea that this thing that's not food is forming part of my food, if I'm not careful and I overheat it and it melts into my food, I don't think that belongs in my body. I would imagine that in large amounts, eventually, it can do some damage. But but it's very easy for me to just have negative thoughts like that because even the things that you consider are harmless for you can have side effects on you that we don't even discover until years down the line. Like every once in a while, we keep hearing, or it's becoming more popular, that they discover that something that we thought was harmless is actually pretty bad for you. So I just, I don't trust anything pretty much. Non-stick pans are bad for you also. Yeah, isn't it because when you cook and like slide something metallic over it, the filmy part of it, like that top layer, it kind of scrapes off and you end up eating that? Yeah, like I've noticed that the non-stick pans that I had, um, unless you're really careful with it, it just that top layer just scrapes right off. And I'm like, where did the part go? The part that just scraped off. Where did that go? Oh, right, the soup. Or, oh, right, the whatever the hell it is that I cook these days. The meat, the pasta, you know? So, yeah, yeah, no, no. Use cast iron or steel pans. I've never used a cast iron, but I have bought a magazine for for cast iron recipes, and I ended up, giving it to someone as a gift. And I'm like, I should really consider two things I should consider: the cast iron and the crock pot. I hear so many wonders about those things. But then again, it's not like, and this is going to disappoint a lot of you guys, but it's not like I spend enough time in the kitchen anyway to justify me getting that stuff. So, Zeb, what the fuck do you eat? Very simple meals, alright? Because a girl's life be chaotic right now. But yeah, I promise you that I'm considering the cast iron and the, what did I just mention? The crock pot. Yeah, I hear good stuff about it. Just use wood spoons. Oh, you're too late, bruh. That is all that I ever use. Wooden spoons. I love them. They're amazing. If it tastes good, who cares what's in it or how it was cooked? If the inside of the pan or pot is black, it might be toxic when cooking. I do haven't I don't have bad thoughts, but thank God I don't do it that anymore. Most people think that Walmart reminds me of a warehouse. Yeah, you know what? I have thought about that before. I have been to warehouses, like legit warehouses, only a handful of times. But Walmart, it feels like I'm trapped in a box, man. There's like no windows, no roof. You just don't know what's happening outside when you step into one of those boxes of doom. And Target is not that different, but something about the way Target displays things and the layout of the store and the fact that at least the Targets I go to, they're not super Targets. I've only been to one super Target. Um, Target stores that I visit tend to be smaller, so it doesn't really generate that stress and anxiety in me. But Walmart's, now with the redesigning again of Walmart, they're going back to that grayish navy white theme. It's really pale. It's very depressive looking. I like psychologically, Walmart is not the place I go to for aesthetics. But when I think about it, just because Walmart is looking pale, it's not making me turn to Target. And even if I could afford Target, there's just nothing in Target that I cannot get at any other place that I actually frequent. Um, but I've noticed that it's like each company has its own little personality, but they're all starting to look so similar that it's very difficult to distinguish one from the other these days, if you ask me. Um, where am I at? God, I hope I don't start coughing. A taco sounds delicious. I just had a super burrito. Oh, question. What do you guys prefer? Do you prefer tacos, burritos, or nachos? Do you prefer soft tortillas or the like crunchy shell? I personally always go with a burrito that has the soft, floury tortilla thing to it. I like crunchy stuff, but because they tend to give you the chips on the side at restaurants, it's like, why would I order a crunchy taco if I'm eating something crunchy already? But I genuinely also like the flavor of a flour tortilla burrito better. So you guys let me know on that one, because that is always a difficult question that comes up when I discuss food, say at the job. Well, Target have nice things, but I know what you're saying, Emery. Some stores don't have everything that people need and want. Carne asada and lime is life. You know what? Anything in lime is life. Beef and lime, chicken and lime. But have I had an asada? I feel like I genuinely have not had an asada. Or maybe I have had an asada, but I have not had the barbacoa, which is, isn't it just barbecue? I don't know. I'm thinking about the Chipotle menu. And I'm like, there's so much that I haven't had in there. Like, I have always gone with the chicken and the chicken bowl or the chicken burrito. Like, I have never tried anything else outside of that. And good lord, who would go there for just veggies? But I guess people with specific diets would definitely settle for that. And how do you guys feel about carnitas? Do you guys ever eat that? Have you ever eaten that? I think that's pork. So if it's pork, that's probably why I haven't messed with it. But but yeah, how is it? Is it decent? Um, let's see, where am I at? Yeah, you pushed my lime button. I'm always thinking about fancy stuff to cook whenever the lime is involved. You can always share your life to us anytime you feel like it. Of course, that means the world to me. It is lit. You ever had a beef tongue burrito? No, I have not. Only because I hear the word tongue and I see it in the menu and I become kind of like I just get weirded out, all right? But I actually hear that it is the bomb. Like I know people who have and eaten it in front of me and I'm like I want to ask to try it, but I don't have the guts to. So pretty much I chicken out because I'm like my grandma. My grandma doesn't like broccoli. She has never eaten broccoli, but she judges broccoli just because it looks like a tiny little tree. And I'm like, I love broccoli. Broccoli is actually my favorite vegetable. I don't eat it enough to remember that it is my favorite vegetable. But but that always shocked me. But a note about broccoli is if it's not steamed right, it can be the nastiest mess in the planet. If you have it like raw or just barely cooked, like when broccoli looks pale, you know it's bad. You know it's horrible. But when it's like nice and green and dark green and like you poke it with the fork and it actually goes like slides through it and stabs it just real nice. And you add maybe a tad bit of butter if you're feeling adventurous. And if you're feeling fancy, you sprinkle some black pepper in it. You're onto something. But if it's pale, like on some fucking salads that I be seeing, I'm not interested in it. So I do discriminate broccoli based on the color of its surface. Where am I at? I haven't, but I bet it's good. That's why you cannot use metal on it. Yay, Zamri, you're better. You're not sick anymore. Prayer works. Artificial breasts are made of silicone, perfectly safe for the body. Uh, haven't there actually been disaster stories when it comes to silicone breast implants and butt implants and all kinds of implants? What is it that has gone wrong during or after those surgeries to where we have had those horror stories? You know what I'm talking about? Have any of you guys actually heard of the stories I'm talking about? It's like maybe it's a procedure that went wrong and it got contaminated and then it messed up someone's body really bad. But I have heard of cases that people who got implants ended up sick, dead, or dying for some reason. Um, I'll need to look into it because it's been a while since I read up on any of that, so I cannot tell you any courses right now. Let's see, where am I at? I'm getting lost in the comments again. I wish I could like pin them so that I don't have to scroll as much. Non-stick pans are only good for eggs and pancakes. Yeah, that's actually what I use them for. Like I learned my lesson. It is different but super good. It is more of an acquired taste. I guess like wine and beer and all that mess. If your taste buds are open-minded, you might like it the first time like I did. If you take care of cast iron, it will outlive you. I have heard. Yeah, I have heard. I use cast iron and steel. I have 6 crock pots. I need to try that one day. I can cook for you though. I am husband material. That is the name of my new fake book. Fake book. I am not a chief yet, but I can cook. If I become a chief, that would be the title of the book. Soft burrito and street tacos. Yellow tortillas. Burritos, crunchy fish tacos is greater than that. I have never messed with a fish taco. I don't need to try it to know that it will not be my favorite thing. And besides, what kind of fish are we talking about? Because the only fish I trust in this life is salmon. King salmon. Have the prices ever? Walmart is not for poor people, just that it's better deal than May. Is that Major? Major? I've never heard of that M store before. Because I'm from the South. Major? 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 Major. If in doubt, Frenchify it. Oh, man. I was about to start crying. I'm like, I'm just a girl. Don't do this to me. So it looks like it just timed out on me. Like I wasn't lagging. I wasn't anticipating that at all. How rude. But anyways, it appears that I'm back. What? Broccoli and cheese was my childhood? It was my childhood as well. And tell me about you grab a baked potato and then you add the steamed broccoli to it, a little bit of butter, a shit ton of cheese, sprinkle some black pepper, and then a little like pinch of salt. Watch that mug melt, and that is life. We used to do bacon bits, but now that I have done away with pork, it's like I cannot do bacon bits anymore. But I never felt like I needed the bacon bits in my potato to enjoy it. But unless the potatoes were fried or baked like that, there is no way I used to mess with potatoes. Like mashed potatoes, I thought they were the most disgusting thing in the planet. But now that I learned to drown them in black pepper, not really drown them, but sprinkle black pepper on them, and definitely drown them in cheese, I enjoy them better. I eat them little trees every day. Good for you. I wish that I would too, but I'm not gonna lie. I'm kind of lazy cuz I my green nowadays is spinach. I can do spinach morning, day, night, evening, afternoon, at midnight, anything. Anything. Zembri, do you try oven dinners? I know it's unhealthy. I didn't have none of them in a long time. I honestly don't. Nope. Nope. Don't really have much to comment on those. I just don't. Broccoli with creamy mac and cheese is so good. Have I ever had broccoli with my... I don't know why this thing keeps saying reconnecting. That it's dead. It's 2 a.m. Nobody's here. Like, just chill out, phone. Chill out. Let's see. Yeah, I've never had creamy mac and cheese with broccoli. Maybe it's time I did. I dunk my broccoli into the cheese. No frosty broccoli. Here's where it pops. I just popped my left fake. Yeah, cast iron can really easily last over 100 years. I put my raw broccoli in salt and red wine vinegar for an hour. Then I use it for salad, super crunchy. I also add cayenne pepper powder. Yes, cayenne pepper, anything. Anything, yes. I like that spice. We back. Awesome. Look up baked potato pizza. It will change the way you think of food. Do we have a baked potato chicken and pesto? If we have a baked potato chicken and pesto, I'm game. I must try that. Now I'm curious. Okay, let's see. I know I had something else that I wanted to tell you guys about. Oh yeah. I cannot believe that I'm such a little kid still in the mind, but you guys let me know if this ever happened to you. When did you overcome this? But were you ever a kid who was scared of going up the stairs once it was dark. Like, for me, when I go up the stairs, I cannot help but have this feeling that there's something behind me or someone behind me. And I think that's the reason why I need to live with a pet, because I'm sure that if there's something wrong anywhere I go to, my pet is going to be alarmed and let me know. But it's like I have that instinct in me to want to run up the stairs when I turn off the light that's downstairs. And then the way that stuff is set up here is there is a somewhat dim light upstairs, but I still feel like I'm such a chicken that I cannot go up the stairs like normal people do. You know, it's like I have that some like sensation that someone's just behind me or something really bad is gonna happen. And this is particularly worse after I come back from watching a horror movie. So you guys, let me know if you were actually just as much as a chicken as me and that it gets better with age, or if you're secretly one of those folks who still suffers from that, or if it's just me. Please tell me it's just me. I love it when I'm just alone with my troubles, and then that encourages me to become better because it's like, come on, Zam. Everyone else got over that fear, but you're still stuck in it. Girl, get a grip. So that would be pretty encouraging, but I'm curious to see what you guys have to say on that one. It is like a baked potato that is like a pizza bread, but a baked potato. Zamri, do you ever have strawberries with chocolate? Taste good. I do. For Valentine's Day, everywhere that you turn to ever, they have chocolate covered strawberries. So it's like I can dig that. Another thing that I love to mess with is chocolate bars that have strawberry filling in it. You need to kind of get used to the texture because it's a filling, so it's like a gel coming out of this chocolate bar, so it may be kind of at first, but once you get over that jelly thing inside of the chocolate bar that you are normally anticipating it, then you can enjoy it. But maybe your first bar is going to be a little unsatisfactory, but once you get used to that filling, it'll be good. You just have to trust me on that one. Zamri, I was that kid. Awesome. Yes. I once lived in a house that was haunted. Don't let the ghost feed on your fear. Oh my god. We need a haunted homes dark kind of crap video, because I have done reviews on like movies like that, like the Conjuring 2. I have a review on that movie, and it sort of wanted to initiate that conversation in the comment section, but of course it couldn't really do that. So we need that stream. We need that stream. So I'll get my life together at some point, do a little bit of fuck, do a little bit of research. I cannot enunciate after midnight. And yeah, we'll throw it on a stream and we'll discuss that, because that is something that actually interests me a lot. When I was a teen, I avoided topics like that. Like it was just a super bad thing, evil on its own. But now it's like I'm intrigued because, you know, I cannot tell if it's something that I consider absolutely true and real, or if it's something that I have to see to believe, or if it's something that I just absolutely fear and therefore I just don't want to discuss it. But I know I have done a topic sort of like that, but never really actually dived dove into it. Sudden parts of movies gave me nightmares, like those 90 rated R movies. Oh my god. To look at those movies now and see how terrible the CGI was, but somehow you loved those movies back then. Does that ever happen to any of you guys? It's like, this movie is actually worse than I remember, but at the same time, back in the day, it was actually a masterpiece. But now that you have all this CGI and movies look a whole lot better, your expectations are kind of different. So to go back to those movies, it's like, this mess is terrible. But 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 classics can age well if you let them. There's some people who just absolutely cannot handle the CGI fuck from back then. But anyways, I just thought I would throw that in there since you mentioned it. Oh my god, Chucky. That was one movie that I could not see by myself. And if you ask me what the plot was about, I don't remember. But I just know that someone got murdered and somehow the spirit of something got into that doll or something. I need to watch it. Now that I'm a grown ass woman and I can actually handle scary movies. Not alone, I haven't tried that. But I can actually go to bed after watching one, then I'll do that. Cause let me tell you, I used to have trouble sleeping after watching a scary movie when I was a kid. So mom would always warn me, "You're not gonna be able to sleep. Don't do that." But I still did it. Yes, now I'm gone. Now the movies is super comedy, even serious movies. Yeah, like Army of Darkness. Have you guys ever seen that one? It's like, how was this movie good? It's just a whole load of comedy now. I had a ghost encounter by two child ghosts. They we keep messing with they keep messing with me. It was weird. I accidentally stepped on their grave. Oh. I'm just glad they were friendly ghosts. That's the part that intrigues me. Where there are accounts that ghosts can get aggressive. It's like, what is the appearance of a ghost like? What is that encounter like? What are your eyes seeing? What are you actually feeling? How do you process that? How did the encounter begin? How did you even realize that you were looking at a ghost? And if ghosts are not friendly, if a ghost is supposed to be an apparition, how can you be hurt by it? Is it like a power from just beyond, or like, that's the part that I need to explore more because I've never seen anything in my life that I could not explain. But I understand that just because I have not witnessed some stuff doesn't mean it doesn't happen. But especially in this planet, all the stuff that has happened during the course of history, I'm pretty sure there's a lot of weird stuff happening out there. But to explain that, it's without experiencing it's the part that I need help in. And it's not like I'm trying to actively seek these experiences because I know it'll be shocking. It's like I would like to sort of go through that so that I can process the stories that I hear a little better. And even my mother has her own stories. And I'm like, if my mom had stories, she's legit. I believe it. No question about it. But it's like, it's difficult to wrap your mind around something that you have yet to experience. La, da, da, da. Aliens got to me, and that alien walking like Satan in Mars Attack doesn't scare me anymore, and I haven't seen that movie before. Mars of Attacks. There's a movie called Mars Attack. I guess you mean that's a different one? It was two girls who did that, was buried next to my house. I never see them, but I heard them talking on my porch around the time I stepped on their grave. That I hear a lot about that. I hear that people's experience tend to be hearing them. My mother said that after her grandma passed away, she could hear the sound of her slippers. And I'm like, "Ma, are you sure you're hearing the sound of her slippers? Or are you anticipating the sound of the slippers because she had a routine and therefore you have like the ghost sound in your brain because your senses are anticipating hearing that? They have become accustomed to the schedule that she went by in her day. So, are you sure you actually heard that? Or were you hearing the anticipation? Like, I don't know if I explained that clearly, but to me, it sometimes happens. It's like, oh yeah, I'm expecting for Dusty to be making his scratching sound. Is he really scratching on his little post, or am I imagining that? And lo and behold, a lot of the times I'm hearing him scratch it, but he's actually not scratching it. And I'm like, it's 6:20 a.m. You're supposed to be scratching on that thing, but you're not. But I can hear it even though you're not. So, and this is the part of me that I wish I could control better, and that is if someone tells me a story about something they experienced, I tend to find the ways to explain it as opposed to just taking their word for it. It's like, are you sure that it wasn't because you were sleep deprived and therefore your senses were playing tricks on you? Because I know what it's like to be sleep deprived and not make sense of the world. But, so nowadays I'm trying to like cut back on being opinionated at first glance, but at the same time, it's just tough for me because I love to think, I love to analyze things, I love to imagine things, explain things. So, mom tells me a story, it's like, okay, let me hold back my urge to like explain it with stuff that I actually know is real, like logical answers. So, yeah, it's like one of my friends was saying that suddenly people know how to solve problems that they have never actually experienced for themselves. I tend to be that person. So it's like, let me stop being the person who I have not experienced the story that I'm being told, but I already have an opinion on it. So it's not that it's bad to speculate, but I realize that it can get on people's nerves. But what can I do? I cannot shut up my imagination. Anyways, Mars Attack. Yes, I'm sorry. Oh my god, Mars Attack was so silly. Like, I think that's the whole point of that movie. It is meant to be goofy. But yeah, the CGI on it is terrible. They just look what they are, phony. The freaky part is I was on the computer and I will be surfing the net. Then my app will close and open up my MS Paint store and stare drawing squares, triangle, and circle with my mouse. It was never perfect. It looked like scribble drowning like kids do it. Drawing. I don't believe in ghosts. When a person is dead, that person is dead, not on earth anymore, and there are two spirits, angels, and demons. Now, do you believe in souls that are actually like in purgatory? Or souls that have not made it to their destination, whether it be heaven or hell? Like, just souls that are lost. Do you believe in that stuff? For me, I want to say that if someone had something important to do in their life and they did not fulfill that goal, as someone who believes that there is something beyond consciousness, I want to say I believe in that it is possible for a soul to keep wandering until it can be laid to rest when its quest is fulfilled. But at the same time, it's like, because I cannot prove this and I will probably not experience it, it's difficult to wrap my head around that. But you guys let me know, what do you believe in? Like, do you think it is possible to have a soul just haunt you because, I don't know, like they needed to get something done and their life was cut short, and therefore that soul is going to be screaming and terrifying people until that thing gets done? You know what I'm talking about? But anyway, let me know, because I don't know. I don't know. I do want to say that I believe in it, but maybe I believe in that because I fear it being true. When I see the blue light, it means angels in the house. It's in the Bible. There are earthly angels to help you. Don't even he or she is an angel after good news have happened. I wish I could say I don't believe in ghosts. Ghost encounters are not fun, friendly or not. I am just glad it was a friendly ghost haunting. I'm trying to imagine a ghost encounter, and I just know that I'm going to freak the hell out. Like, I'm so used to having explanations for everything, and if someone is meant to be somewhere, I can expect them there. But sometimes I wonder, how would I be able to tell that someone is has broken into my home and is just waiting? Like, did you guys ever hear the story of, I think this was in New York or something. There was this couple. They lived in like this one apartment, and apparently someone homeless had been sleeping in their attic or something, and they were eating food, I think, and even using the sink as a bathroom. And they set up a secret camera, and that's how they caught this. I think it was a woman, actually. So that is my biggest fear. It's like this person had been living there for a while, and no one had caught it until she started making noise and leaving the kitchen all upset. But that's my biggest fear. It's like suddenly coming home and I think everything is normal, and then a door or a room that I don't frequent is like surprise. So yeah, I'm such a chicken at nighttime. It's like uh, the the dumbest thing can keep me up at night. When people die, they will see Jesus no matter what people hate God or against God. Hell are the ones that don't accept Christ as Lord and Savior. Heaven is the ones that accepted Christ as Lord and Savior. Heaven and hell is so real. I believe in that. I believe in that. And it's hard for me to, I guess, put it into words because I just need to really, really just go by what the word says and read the Bible, right? But at first glance, when I think of heaven and hell, of course, because of movies and art artistic stuff as a child, I used to believe, oh, in heaven it is exactly what it looks like. It's clouds and angels and all fun and games forever. And in hell is just you're in this boiling pot and someone has like a pitchfork or a trident and they're just keeping you there and it's burning and hot and everyone is screaming. But it's like because a lot of things in life are metaphorical, it's like what's to keep that from being a huge metaphor? And it probably is. And that's why I'm saying I should definitely force myself to get exposed to the Bible so that I can finally know what I'm talking about. But as an ignorant person, my first impression is that it's like your consciousness will like transcend into some other world. It's like I guess the thing that can aid me at explaining this is if any of you guys ever played The Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess, when you become a wolf, you can activate your wolf senses and you can see that people who are no longer like physically there, it's like their soul is just floating around. So we have this dimension, which is I'm here, you guys are there in your respective homes, flesh and blood, like me, breathing, and all that good stuff. But somehow there is a flipped side to this dimension that we're in. And let's pretend that you can only see black and white in there as opposed to the color spectrum that we know of our present world. So once you die, you transcend into that other dimension to coexist with other spirits that have passed on, but it's like a planet Earth, but it's probably like a million times bigger than this one, only because we have had so many souls pass on already. Like there's my bloodline and your bloodline, and then all. Let's count the animals there too, for the sake of, we need them to maintain the earth and our ecosystem going about, right? But it's just crazy for me to think and accept that this life that I'm living is the only shot at life that I ever get, especially as a human. And it's only what, let's say 80 years that you can expect to be alive, 85 ish. So, really, what about the folks who pass on really, really young due to like unforeseen circumstances or unfortunate circumstances? That child lived to be only 2 years old. That's the only shot at life that they get. Does your consciousness really not just float around looking for its next host or a place to like host that? You know? So that's the part of me that it keeps me confused, and it's really my own mind keeping me confused. But anyways, it's fun to speculate. It was in China. She was living in the attic. It was a hidden attic. Yeah, that sounds about right. People who think that when they die that there is no afterlife tend to have high suicide rates. That makes sense because I imagine that they associate the fact that the whole reason they're taking their own lives is probably because they're not interested in being alive in the first place. So why would you be excited about accelerating that process of your life ending if you know that you're just going to come back to this world, to summarize it and be overly simplistic, to be miserable again, if that's the whole reason you decided to kill yourself. But just like someone says, people who are happy do not tend to have high suicide rates. So I would imagine that we can safely assume that someone takes their own lives when they're miserable or when they're trying to not pay the consequences for something. Like if you do something really messed up, it's like, oh, I'm going to rot in jail for this. Let me just get it over with. I don't know. I don't know. I've never thought about doing that, like taking my own life for real. So it's not like I know how to express myself as a suicidal person of why I'm going to be inclined to do it. See what I mean? Let's see. God will judge people. God won't let evil people do anything. They want the Bible is real. And you see, when it comes to measuring what constitutes to being something evil, someone evil, evil deeds, evil acts, evil thoughts, how do we know for sure that a person is really a terrible person? And the reason I ask this is because we all are imperfect beings and we will do our share of bad stuff. Let it be severely bad stuff, let it be less, more innocent bad stuff, as in like something less harmful. Let's put it like that. So, do you have to make sure that you only commit mistakes and I guess evil deeds that are not too compromising? Or like must you do something just absolutely horrendous and nameless for you to be considered someone evil that God is going to judge you terribly on? Like, is it anything breaking away from like the commandments or something? Is that like your safe space for you to stick to those commandments so that you remain safe, just to oversimplify it? What do you guys think? Because I always find it interesting when I hear of the so called ultimate judgment, but I'm like, who in this planet has not done something bad? So, does it have to be something that stands out as bad, or just any kind of evil deed in general will condemn you to the darkness forever? See what I mean? Because even if you don't physically do something terrible, I'm pretty sure we all have had terrible ideas and thoughts. Do you get penalized for those? So, but anyways, I'm sure that's pretty much explained in the Bible, but again, I haven't read it. but but yeah, I like to speculate on a matter for as long as I can until I cannot imagine stuff anymore, and then I just give up and I'm like, okay, let me give up my ignorant ways and explore this for real. Let's see. I follow science, but I don't like when atheists call me crazy over my ghost encounter. That's sad, Zambri, about people die young, but it's up to God. God controls life and death, and God gave everybody a free will to God or evil to love yourself or kill yourself. Yeah. My mother explained that to me one time. She was like, God has a agenda, God has his plan. So uh, it was probably, I don't want to say that it was a mistake from God, but for me to understand what my mother was saying at the time, I looked at it as, oh, so in other words, he created this child, but he said, oh, I messed up. Let me undo that. And the way to undo that is to take the child from us. But of course, I don't want to associate God with a being that can make mistakes when he's supposed to be perfect and all that, right? But if I don't put it like that, I don't associate it so well. Put it that way. True, everybody are sinners, so that's important to repent our sins to God. To be reborn, God knows we are humans, but it's the education of bad things that God will judge. And, when it comes to repenting, what does it mean exactly to repent? How do you actually prove that you're repenting for real? Because it, it, because we live in such a life of deception, it's like, how can you even tell that you're repenting for real? Is this something that you actually get guidance on, or is it something that you will only repent and you will feel compelled to do it when you know for real that that's what you're doing, that's what your genuine intention is? And the reason I ask that is because I hear that a lot of times people in their deathbeds, if you were not believing in a God before, for some reason during that last minute that you're alive, you really just somehow felt that God was indeed real. So in that last minute, you're going over everything bad that you did and you're letting it go, but winning in it, you know? Anyways. I once was dying in my truck, and when I woke up to wind down my window, the police officer drove off. I was saved from dying. I think it was a respiratory problem. Huh? Satan cannot make anybody. Satan can't make nobody to evil, but he will whisper to your ear and to do bad things. But it is up to you to get used to your mind. Don't do evil, and God doesn't make people believe in him. You know what? When it comes to that, I was telling someone about something that I do that my mother actually gave me this hint, and that was sometimes the devil disguises stuff in such a way to make you feel bad. And an example of that would be, let's say my brother. My brother could have had an opportunity to go to Europe to do some work over there, but unfortunately he had to have that canceled. So my mother, to make sure that he doesn't feel down about the fact that he cannot go to somewhere that he wanted to go, she's like, don't feel bad about it. If you're meant to go to Europe and visit or do whatever it is that you want to do, it'll happen. It'll happen at another time, whenever the time is right. But right now, because you lost your chance to go, you may feel compelled to feel down and bummed out, but don't let that happen. That is literally the devil trying to tempt you into feeling bad about the fact that what you wanted is not happening as soon as you wanted it to. And then for me personally, I think of it as, you know what, anytime I have everything bad in life accumulate and happen at the same time to where I feel like I'm being stressed out, and like I described it to someone, it's like you feel this grip on your neck that for some reason it can get as tight as hell, but it doesn't really choke you out. I just learned to not feel bad about it. Even if tragedy is all around me, say I get sick, my car breaks down, or shoot, let's mention it. If something happened and I ended up unemployed, it's like, sure, that is bad stuff happening and it wants to stress me out, but I will not let it get to me because life is, there's more to life than just that. All of that stuff is replaceable. It will complicate my life for a while. I'll have to worry about how to meet my basic needs because modern days requires, especially in the society that I am a part of, it requires that you have this stuff together. But I ain't tripping if I lose all of those things because at the end of the day, they are replaceable. It'll set me back a few years, maybe financially, but that's where you have to, I guess, believe and have faith, and really, that's when your spirituality gets tested because you really will think that the worst is happening to you, that there's no way that your life can ever get better after that. But I look at a lot of things that are bad happening at the same time as I am being tested emotionally and mentally, but at the same time, because everything is wanting to overwhelm me, it could be that I had a brief moment of letting my guard down spiritually, mentally, emotionally, all that good stuff. So the devil is taking advantage of the fact that I am vulnerable and it's trying to control my mind into feeling negative about myself. But of course, if you're an individual who doesn't really believe in that stuff, or you don't even have the slightest connection to a spiritual world, that will be a thing very difficult for you to even want to accept. For me, I know I describe myself as a spiritual person, but I don't read the Bible. Why do I describe myself as a spiritual person? Because I never feel like I cannot trust my intuition. It's like so many things have happened to me that I cannot believe that they're just a coincidence. So, because of those coincidences, a lot of good stuff has happened, and my life has taken a course that if we were to take away one little instance where I decided to actually go by what my gut was telling me, my life would be a whole lot different. And I know that everyone out there, you guys have your own stories that you can share about that one second that changed your life forever. Of course, that has happened to me. So, so when you go through crisis, I look at it as you are being tested and you don't even know it. So that's when you really have to prove that you're more prepared, capable, and stronger than you think you are. And that's where I'm at right now. It's like, wow, there is so much shit happening in my life. I feel like I'm drowning and choking and overwhelmed. But I'm like, you know what? I'm designed to withstand this. But anyways, I thought I would share that with you since we're dwelling on this odd stuff. I call it odd, but it's just the unexplored or not very commonly explored. The thing was that I was drunk and was choking on my own vomit. In the wait, what? Anyways, in your truck. I was not outside at any point to get the cops to be parked next to my truck. God will bless your heart to feel that love from God when you repent. That's different from happiness, so lovely. So basically, the officer was my guardian watching and saved me. It was so bizarre. All things happen for a reason. God see the future of danger that he shouldn't go that time. God is on time. God, Satan will throw darts at you, hoping you're giving up on God. That's Satan's job. Yeah, like a lot of the times it feels like a lot of stuff, you're being bombarded with a lot of negative things to overwhelm you into wanting to give up. So I guess for folks who are really stressed out to where they cannot handle stuff, overwhelmed, overpowered, and then they commit the ultimate act of taking their own lives, it's like, I guess we can assume that that's definitely a battle that the dark person, the dark being, won. But at the same time, it's like, can those things be prevented? If the right person with the right resource, with the right words at the right time would have arrived in that person's life, is it guaranteed that they could have been saved? Or were they doomed to that fate? See what I mean? Because I feel like everything needs to have a balance. But at the same time, how do you determine who gets to go where when it comes to heaven and hell? That's the big question I have. If your car broke down, God can see the future that you won't get to car, cash, and more. God will test people, and God wants people to love God, rich or poor or more. People can be saved without reading the Bible the way God will be blessed you, and God is everywhere, and the Word of God exists. Yeah, sometimes I feel like, you know what? I don't feel like I'm in a bad path just because I'm not reading the Bible. I know I could be better, but at the same time, I'll get to it when I feel like I'm prepared for it. The whole reason I've been putting it off is because I feel like I don't have the proper focus for it. And when it comes to reading, if it is possible for me to be reading something, I'm looking at pages, I'm seeing words, I understand them, they're in my language, but I'm not interpreting them right. And then I find myself going back to reread, going back and reread, and I still don't get it. So it's like when I embark in that journey, I want to truly be able to focus on it. And I'm sure that if I made time for it now, that I am overwhelmed and my life has become challenging, it's like, yeah, that's when you demonstrate your true faith by, you become familiar with this book, and this book actually can give you advice on how to make your life better. But when it comes to that, I really feel like if I'm putting it off, it's for the right reasons. Because when I used to read it, I was not mature enough. But now I feel like I'm getting closer to it. Car crash and more. I'm sorry. Yeah, I understand. I understood. That's what you meant. The devil drives people to kill themselves. I try to help people. Unfortunately, I cannot save all people from killing themselves. I my friend killed himself. I feel bad for people I love for killing themselves. And yeah, that is absolutely something that will, it affects you. Every time I hear a story about someone who takes their own lives, it affects me one way or another. I have never personally met someone who has done that, but I don't need to know someone to feel the effect of it. I immediately start thinking about their their close circle of people, like how are they feeling, how are they processing this. I'm pretty sure that the worst part of it has to be that feeling of guilt. Why was I not able to catch this person during their free fall? Like, could I have done something to save them? Could I have said something to save them? Could I have taken them somewhere to save them? That guilt. I think that one of the worst things in life is living with guilt. But maybe what if that person needs to commit that act so that people who feel guilt may realize that they need to clean up their own messes. If you have trouble sleeping at night, why? Are you doing something bad? Or is your body just not cooperating? But a lot of people, it is said that you cannot go sleep if you don't have a clean conscience. So I would imagine that this person doing that, it'll stir the mud up in some people. So maybe that's what they needed to finally reflect on some things. Like for us, we focus on that disgrace aspect of the suicide. But for other people, that is their wake up call. It's like, oh crap, you know, I feel guilty. So I need to get my mess together with the way that I treat my loved ones, the way I examine my loved ones, and, make sure that this doesn't happen again. Especially if it's becoming an epidemic. People cannot go to hell for killing themselves. Only time people are going to hell is rejecting Christ. Whoever's killing themselves is selfish, the way the person and parents loves that person or friends. It was my military buddy. He shot himself. I'm devastated. I feel like I should have helped. I'm so sad. I never knew he was suicidal. Yeah, absolutely. That is the worst part of it. It's like, how did you miss that? How are there absolute telltale signs? Apparently there are, because we have all these articles and all these stories talking about these are the symptoms that someone may be considering it. But at the same time, can you really be held responsible for that? It's like, I've mentioned this before. It's like, I am responsible for what I say, but not how you react. So, can someone out there truly be responsible to driving someone to doing that? I'm not so sure what to opine in that one, because I feel like ultimately you have the final say. You are allowing for the circumstances of life, the factors and forces of life to overwhelm you enough to drive you to do that. So, again, this is one of those times where it seems like I'm looking for the flaw in the victim and trying to blame the victim. But unfortunately, here you are the victim of your own hand. How do we judge that properly? So I feel like if you're really convinced that that's what you want to do, you're going to carry it out. There's nothing that anyone can say to you or do for you that's going to change your mind. Unless someone has been saved from committing that, which I'm sure there has been people who have been saved from like taking their own lives. But sometimes I feel that maybe if it's something that you intend to do, you're gonna carry it out anyway. But you guys let me know. Feel free to completely shoot that one down, because I know anything is possible in life, but at first glance, that is my impression. If you're really convinced to do something, you're doing it. Let's see. When a person accepted Christ as Lord and Savior can go back to be unsaved in the Bible. It's in the Bible. Alright, guys. Well, it's been a pleasure, but your girl should definitely get some sleep before I mess up my sleep cycle altogether. It was very interesting to stream this. I had no idea what this was going to turn into. It's sad that people are taking their own selves. Breaks my heart. We cannot be saved, everybody, but we can just pray, hoping that God helps them. That person God see everything in the past and future of that person's lives. Alright, guys. Well, this is it from me. So I hope all of you have a good night. Let's get some sleep if it's nighttime for you, and I'll see you soon. I love the videos, Emily. Your videos are amazing. Can you do a country broccoli and cheese ASMR though? Leave that in the comments of another video so that I get the notification for it and I write it down on my clipboard, and I make sure that at some point I do an ASMR on broccoli and cheese. It's happening. Give me some time though. Like everything that I have said that I will do, that I have fallen behind on, in the works of it. Like I have it written down, so it's not like it got lost in the comment section of a stream. It's just that your girl needs time. I need to get my life together first. But it's happening.